In today's episode of Do You Have To, we're asking the question, do you have to use a full range of motion in order to adequately stimulate hypertrophy and building strength? The answer for this one is really simple and straightforward. No, you don't need to, evidenced by the fact that people have been building muscle and strength since the dawn of civilization, and yet almost nobody will ever use a true full range of motion when they're doing their strength training. I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? I squat ass to grass, I chest to bar during bench press and all these sorts of things. I use a full range of motion. Yes, you are using a full range of motion per dictated by the exercise. But we're not talking about exercise range of motion. We're talking about muscular range of motion. See, most of our muscles aren't fully used in their full range on any exercise or movement pattern that we engage in. Like if we squat down, we could get our hips really close to the ground, and yet some of our muscles are actually shortening rather than elongating in a squatting motion, particularly your rectus femoris, which crosses your hip. So it's actually in many ways shortening just a little bit, but if you do sissy squats, that muscle is getting elongated, but other ones may be slightly shortening in that motion. But that doesn't mean that a good solid range of motion isn't potentially more beneficial. You get a lot of things from big ranges of motion. It may more adequately stimulate strength or building muscle due to more mechanical stress on the muscle, which may be correlated to hypertrophy. There's increase in stability, there's increase in mobility. There's basically just a lot you can gain from using a bigger range of motion. So my take on things has usually been that when it comes to range, more is typically better. However, that doesn't mean that more is always best. Sometimes it's prudent to use a shorter range of motion. For example, when you're trying to build strength and stability in a more controlled setting. Convict conditioning uses this quite a bit, where Paul Wade will say only go down partially using things like basketballs and stuff, shorten your range of motion, get comfortable with that amount of resistance. Powerlifters using back squats or board pressing and so forth. So using range of motion is a tool. It is a way that we can adjust the qualities of the exercise and progress it in ways other than just weight and reps. So I hope that makes sense. What other questions should I ask for future episodes of Do You Have To down below in the comments? Thank you very much for watching. Be fit and live free.